Hi there. In this video, I'm going to start talking about MIDI tracks. So, MIDI tracks are slightly different to audio tracks, and this is because they contain MIDI information. MIDI tracks allow you to create music using virtual instruments. You can write in or record MIDI information, which can be manipulated or edited at any time in the MIDI note editor. This information is then played back with a virtual or software instrument, which creates a sound. For example, you can use drum kits, synthesizers, or any third-party instruments you may have. So, an audio file is a pre-recorded sample which is simply played back on the audio track. MIDI tracks have software instruments loaded onto them, and sounds are then triggered using MIDI. So, at the moment, we've got our audio clip opened up, and we can see the audio file. If I double-click on an empty clip slot on a MIDI track, you'll see here the MIDI note editor has opened up. This is where we can write in our MIDI note information. Any MIDI notes that we now draw in will be stored in this clip. So, in the MIDI editor, you'll notice we can see a piano keyboard flipped vertically. This is where you can write in musical notes to be played back by your software instrument. The pitch of the notes is represented vertically, and the timing is represented horizontally. The numbers along the top show us the beats of the bar. So this is bar 1, beat 1, bar 1, beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. The numbers in between show us smaller beat divisions. This is very important as this is how we write music and keep it in time. I'll go over this in more detail later on. So I'm just going to draw in a couple of MIDI notes now. You can draw a note by double-clicking. You change the length of it by hovering over the ends and clicking and dragging when this icon appears. And to delete them, you click on a note to select it and then press backspace. You can change a note's position by clicking and dragging in the center of it. So we can change its position in time by moving left or right, or pitch by going up and down. I'm going to go over the MIDI note editor in a lot of detail in future lectures, but right now I just want to show you how to load on a software instrument. I'm just going to create a basic chord with the notes C, E, and G. I'm going to select them all by clicking and dragging over them, and extend the length so it's the full length of the bar. To play back a MIDI clip, just like an audio clip, you simply press the play button. You'll notice there my audio clip also started playing back at the same time. That's because I hadn't pressed the stop button on the audio track first. Now if I play this MIDI clip once again, you'll notice we can't actually hear anything. If you look down here, you'll be able to see these yellow dots illuminating. So that's just showing us that MIDI signal is being received, but you'll notice we couldn't hear anything. And that's because a MIDI track which has not been assigned a software instrument will make no sound. MIDI is simply musical note information, and each MIDI track needs to convert this information into sound using a software instrument. So this is where we need to look at the browser once again. So I'm going to go over to the instrument category in the browser. I'm just going to press close because we don't actually have a tambourine instrument available to us, so we weren't able to see all the options available to us. The list down here is displaying all the instruments that we have available in Ableton Live. You may have less instruments if you're using a basic version of Ableton. This version is Suite. I'm just going to go over to Simpler because this instrument is available on all versions of Ableton Live. So to look at the presets, click on the little arrow to open the drop-down box. Here we can see some different sounds. I'm just going to go to Piano and Keys and choose Simplest Piano. So we can hear the preview of it being played back there. Right, so now what I need to do is click and drag this onto my MIDI track. This won't actually go in a clip slot. It just needs to be dropped anywhere onto the track, and it will load this instrument onto the MIDI track. We'll be able to see now this window is opened up, and this is displaying our software instrument. Now, if I play this clip back once again, we can hear there the chord is being played back. So, looking back down at this window at the software instrument, this is where we can make changes to our sound. The area that we can see our software instrument in is called the device view. If you want to swap between the device view and the MIDI note editor, go down to the bottom right and click on this tab here. This will open up the MIDI note editor once again. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Shift and Tab to swap between these two views. Now, something else I'll mention quickly is if we look at our two different MIDI tracks now, you'll be able to tell that the one with an instrument loaded onto it looks different to the one without. If I go back to the device view down here, click on my instrument and press backspace, this will delete it. Watch what happens to my MIDI track now. You can see there our meter and dials have disappeared. Now when I play the clip back once again, we're just seeing these yellow dots light up and we're not getting any sound. If I put my instrument back on again, you'll see there the meter has reappeared, and when I play the clip, you can hear a chord being played back. So just be aware, if your MIDI track ever looks like this, you won't get any sound. So just to clarify, an audio track will always be able to play back its audio clips, whereas a MIDI track needs a software instrument. Audio tracks will always have the meter and dials displaying down here. Whatever sample you load onto your audio track will be exactly what you hear. So, if you're a complete beginner, you'll now hopefully understand the differences between MIDI and audio. Thanks for watching.